So the pilot for Gameoverse came out a couple days ago now, and those who have seen some of my previous work would probably guess that this show would appeal to me. But the more that I watched this is the more that I was confused about the roles here. Particularly what the syntax are doing and why they're portrayed the way they are. I mean, let's just look at the head honcho guy.
As long as it doesn't get to the game world, we're fine.
It's heading for the game world.
What? Do not let them on the planet! Do you hear me? Clean that up!
Wait, so you're just hurting those guys out of knee-jerk reaction and not, like, you're not trying to do that?
Oof. Yeah, big oof, fold! I've looked all over for a suitable game world to train our new recruit.
Hi, I'm Crab Girl.
Say you're sorry.
I'm sorry, Crab Girl.
I'm Crab Girl.
Why are we going through all this effort to train a recruit that clearly looks like more of a detriment than a help to whatever this cause is? Apologies to the Crab Girl fans watching.
I suppose I must commend you for successfully completing the game world and destroying the Farcade.
Giving your henchmen credit. Okay.
What the hell is going on? Where's my Sarcano? Quiet, Shark, and listen. Look out there. The rules of the Gameoverse are cruel and unfair. With the float we absorb from planets like yours, we can change those rules and bring back all that we've lost. Join us.
Well, that just sounds like the most reasonable thing I've heard in the past 30 minutes. I mean, I am zeroing in on this one guy, but you get the idea, right? Like, the rules of this show, this universe, is really rough. Like, the game lock, the game over, the inevitability of it all. I don't really get what you're supposed to do about any of this. Like, there's actually a phenomenon that I've seen over the years. I don't know if it has a name, like how the trolley problem has a name and so on. If something is inevitably going to die, do you just sit back, don't do anything? Obviously nobody's going to do that, 'cause everybody wants to, like, do something. But try to sustain the life as much as possible, or do you end it off quicker so that the suffering kind of ends? And to be honest, even as a man of faith, I don't yet know the answer to that question. But in this instance, we have the Farcade, which is like the previous good guys of Fallen Worlds, and they're trying to, like, keep other ones alive as long as possible, at least as it seems. And then we have the Syntax, which are the previous villains of the worlds that have kind of come together and are ending the worlds quicker. In my opinion, I just don't get how the whole Farcade thing would work. So are we saying that we're supposed to let the good guy lose so that the bad guy can just have tyranny over that world for however long to keep everybody alive, but suffering? Bear in mind that Flappers was supposed to die in this situation, which, you know, I get it, one person dying so that a whole bunch of people can live. I get that. Either way, even if not, what it sounds like from what Snapper said is that the good guy is just gonna keep coming back and just, like, restarting the game and just keep going and trying again and again and again. Eventually, they're gonna win. Like, that's just how... have you guys played games before? That's how this works. You... I mean, I guess there's some situations if you're playing, like, Steel Soul, Silksong, or Pantheon 5 or something. Like, I get that. So, like, if it's inevitable and you can't do anything, I feel like the Syntax have the more reasonable plan, which is to at least potentially, at least use what's left of these worlds instead of just, like, leaving it there and just go off into space and maybe make a better reality. Maybe. Like, we haven't seen them actually do it yet, but it's possible. Nobody else has done it yet. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, Ibex, I hear what you're saying, but these guys are literal jerks, which is a good point. They say some mean things, they do some physical, not good stuff. I get that. And things like this should not be excused. But I'm going to excuse it. understand that these guys are literal villains of their worlds. Like, they're made to be this way. It's coursing through their DNA, their code, their whatever their essence is that you want to call them. This is naturally who they are, and that's not something that's easy to just like fix overnight, you know? So I'm willing to give them some lenience here, as overall their actions don't really show that they're just trying to do a villainous thing. At least to me, I define villainy as thoughts and actions in the intent for selfish gain. And what I can see here is that we have three options, as I said. We either do nothing, we try to sustain something that we can't really sustain, or we just let nature do its thing and then we can actually fix it, potentially. This seems like the most like selfless, like this seems like the most logical and selfless option here. And in the same way that they're like naturally mean and so on, you can see this in a lot of other ways, like with misinformation, you know, giving unnecessary information and certain other things like that. But particularly, I think the Farcade members have a similar situation in reverse, where they're inherently like good guys. Hey, we gotta try to keep as many people alive as possible, and kind of keeping this false sense of reality, like this fallacy that maybe we can just keep trying and eventually some worlds can just be kept in a stalemate forever, you know? And not really looking at the reality of the situation here. Like, I mean, you can even see that once the world is gone, they just take the hero and dip. Like, they could at least try to get the other inhabitants off the dying planet, but the Farcade knows well they can't just sustain planets worth of people. Like, they can't feed that many mouths. But, I don't know. To be honest, despite everything I've said, I expect to be proven wrong in future episodes, because that's just how these things go. We got the villains, you know, that's just how they are. They're gonna do some selfish acts and so on, like, but hey, I kind of just want to enjoy the nuance while I have it, you know? I mean, you could even say at the end that, like, Kit and Caboodle's, like, rivals do have, like, a selfish thing here. They want to kill Kit and Caboodle. But, like, even then, understand in their perspective, you know, they're also traumatized that their world has been destroyed. Kit and Caboodle have been the cause of destroying their world, and also are actively stopping them from bringing the world back. Like, you can understand the malice here. Pun intended. If you know, you know. But yeah, ultimately we don't really know enough yet. This is just like the thoughts that I had. Like, this villain group is like some of the most reasonable villains I've ever seen, to be honest. Like, they're honestly pretty chill. And there is also a point at the beginning that Caboodle had said something about, like, following standard protocol or whatever. So it's possible that this episode is not how the Farcade actually do things. Maybe they have some way to sustain this stalemate, but I still kind of doubt it. You know, I just don't get it. Like, with the game lock and stuff, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. But hey, that's just a theory. A Gameoverse theory! Now, what are the odds I just lost all the viewers before I talk about myself? For those that don't know, this is not the sort of video I've done. Not live commentary video. Like, I do playthroughs. This is not normal to me. But with how deep I usually get with lore and so on, people really have wanted to see me, like, do something like this. But I just know how hard to edit it is. I tried doing, like, not like essay videos, but I tried doing not live commentary videos when I first started, and it was so bad. I have so much respect for the people that do essay videos because I know how much effort goes into that stuff. To be honest, I'd like to point out Livy in particular, who I've watched some of their videos recently. They not only do Silksong, but they do some other, like, shows and stuff. And to be honest, if not for me seeing that she's done stuff like that, I probably would have not made this video at all. So, yeah. Thanks, Livy. I haven't talked to you before. But hey, if you did like the video, if you could do that, you can check out some of the other stuff like the Silksong thing, which gets a little meta. Like, it's interesting. And or some other stuff that I've done as well. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself out there. Peace to you.